This court is again in session. Now, Bridget Pack presiding.
Please be seated. We are back on the record in case number DV10-01877, McDowell versus McDowell. The record will reflect that counsel and the parties are present, and we have a witness in the witness box. Sir, I remind you that you're under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
No,
Go ahead.
just a couple quick housekeeping things. I don't have it marked on my record whether Kay was admitted. Exhibit K. I think it was.
I have it as yes.
Okay.
Madam Clerk.
And then also, I just wanted to make the court aware that before we left the third floor to go to lunch, I informed the deputy that I was not going to be calling Mr. David Laurie. So I know I saw you in the lobby, and I know you didn't. Hopefully, you wouldn't think that I would do anything inappropriate, but we weren't talking about Case first of all, and even so, he's not going to be a witness. So.
I trust your duties as an officer of the court. So.
Thank you. I have only just a couple more quick questions for Mr. Welch. In your experience in working for Rivendell or for Ms. McDowell, is it common for clients to become workers?
It is common for them to be told that they are going to be in a staff position, leadership position. So yes.
Do you have an opinion as to why that is common?
I believe that my opinion is that it's a self-motivator, a way to build a person's self-esteem, to make them feel better about themselves, to feel like they can get a position in doing something that they couldn't normally ever get a position in doing. And I kind of feel that, my opinion is that it's also more affordable.
And once you had that position, did she continue, I'm only speaking of you personally, did she continue to make you feel like you were moving up and that you had lots of opportunities?
Not after the first few months. I mean, it feels like it, in my particular situation, it felt kind of like I was encouraged at first, and then it was more of, I have duties and I need to focus on what she wants. And whatever goals that were initially mentioned for me becoming a staff were no longer up front. I mean, they were...
And would she be encouraging about what your options might be elsewhere if you were to leave?
No. It was often portrayed that I really wouldn't be able to get a job anywhere else, and this is the best opportunity I could ever have, and I better take it because I'm not going to get nothing better.
My last question, I believe, is the one that we started, I think, before the break, and then we had some objections, and then I think that was resolved, and we took our lunch, and that was, I asked you, I think I first asked you if you had positive feelings about Mr. McDowell, and you responded yes, and then I asked you if you have known Mrs. McDowell about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And I asked you, did you have positive feelings about her during these past years, too?
Most of my life I have. I kind of felt that Tanya was somebody I wanted to be like. I really wanted to aspire to meet the kind of dreams she had, the goals, the kind of person that I felt she was. And then more along the past year, it feels my opinion has changed, and my view on things they're not what they used to be. No, not anymore.
Now, was that the case, this change in opinion, was that the case before you ever left Rohan?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was before I even got to Rohan that I started feeling that way. I could actually say it was somewhere around December of 2010, sorry. About December of 2010.
so what is the way you feel now that's different from the way you described you felt earlier?
I feel like it's more based off of, I kind of feel like that it's more, it used to be that it was about helping people, you know, doing something you can do to make a difference in people's lives. And it felt like it shifted dramatically to how you can help further her business. And no longer about the people you're helping. That's my opinion. And that affected how I felt about her, because how things were going.
Okay. I have nothing further on my direct of this witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is it Mr. Welch?
Yes.
I just want to kind of clarify for me and for the court to be sure I understand. You stated your testimony is earlier that you went to Rohan Ranch in May or June of 2010?
No, 11.
2011.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I thought that you stated 2010. And you left Rohan Ranch in February of 2011.
12.
12, okay.
I'm sorry if I misstated that.
That's okay. I just wanted to clarify. So you were there from June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, correct?
Yes.
About 9 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And why is it that well, maybe let me rephrase it. Is the reason that you are no longer at Rohan Ranch because there were some difficulties with your behavior in terms of releasing information relating to clients that was prohibited by HIPAA?
No, I left on my own opinion, or on my own terms, because in November, I had spoke to Mr. Keith about a problem that I was having about not getting paid. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I wasn't, and I was told that I was violating HIPAA at that time, yes.
And who told you were violating HIPAA?
Tanya.
Tanya McDowell. So
Yes.
that was part of the problem. And that was in November of 2011, wasn't it?
Yes.
And you and Mr. McDowell also exchanged some Facebook posts, did you not?
That's all we exchanged was through private messaging on Facebook.
Private messaging through Facebook. And during those Facebook messages, did you at any point in time advise Mr. McDowell that in order to exchange information from him, you would need a place to go and a place to live?
I said no. That's why I contacted him, actually, is because I had nowhere to go, and I was looking to see if he had any options that he could, because he's the only other person that I knew that knew anybody.
But you did ask him if he could help you with finding a place to live
Yes.
and employment, correct?
Yes.
And you also stated you provided through the Facebook information relating to business, did you not?
Yes.
Okay, and that includes some of her credit card banks and information.
All that I provided on the Facebook is the name of First Independent Bank.
First Independent Bank. You never provided the name of Chase Credit Union?
Yes, I did.
Mr. McDowell. Is there anything else that you provided to Mr. McDowell through the Facebook post specifically that you can recall?
I don't recall everything that I wrote, but if you tell me, I can tell you that. I mean, I honestly don't remember everything that was written.
Did you ever offer to provide him with passwords to a bunch of things?
I said that I had the password, so yes, I was making the offer, even though I didn't say it outright.
And those passwords would have obtained accounts that would have had HIPAA information. Is that not correct?
No, because most of these passwords that I have are all to my personal stuff that I was doing for the company. Example being my personal email that I kept copies. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, Mr. Welch, do you not think that it's somewhat inappropriate as a staff member to offer passwords to accounts to the business to Mr. McDowell, who's not an employee there and who's engaged in a divorce with Mrs. McDowell?
Well, I did specifically say that I was not sure what I was allowed to do because I was not sure what all of HIPAA's laws were, so I was reluctant to give any information, and I specifically said that as well.
Do you recall making a Facebook post or exchange with Mr. McDowell where you said, "All I would like is a place to live and a chance to get my life rolling. I have lived with false hope and broken promises for 4 years."
Yes.
Do you recall making that statement?
Yes.
And in that same transaction, you also advised him that you had passwords to a bunch of things, but I'm not sure if sending those to you and the emails violates HIPAA laws. That was also included in that, wasn't it?
Yes.
You also offered him the emails that you had for the post 4 years.
Yes.
And you indicated that
I said I had emails. I don't know if I said that I would give them to him. I said I've collected everything that I've ever been given or received from the company in emails.
And are you the one that initiated this contact with Mr. McDowell, or was it Mr. McDowell?
No, it was me.
It was you. Let me ask you, did you make any contact with Mrs. McDowell in March 2nd, 2012 regarding your being removed from the company? Do you recall sending her any emails in that regard?
I probably have, but I don't remember.
Do you recall if you sent her an email stating, I know you think I had something to do with this?
Oh, yes, I do.
Can I
I'm sorry.
The witness, Your Honor? Just so that perhaps maybe, is this the email that I started with? Do you recall this particular email?
Yes.
And if that's an email of yours, correct?
Yes.
And that is in March of 2012 that you
Yes.
sent that, correct?
I stated that to Keith's lawyer as well, that I did not want to be a part of these proceedings, and that it was something that I was forced into, because I had said that I didn't want to make an enemy out of anybody.
And in this email you state that it's David who has a vendetta. Who is David?
He's a former employee.
Okay. And he has a vendetta against Mrs. McDowell.
I think he doesn't like her.
Okay. And so you were drug into this by David as a result of that vendetta. Is that correct?
Objection, she's.
Sort of. And the example being is I was actually the one who initially talked to Keith, and it was asked if I would go to court. And I told David about what was going on, because I don't have many people to speak to about my problems and about things, and I forgot about the fact that David has a problem, and he wanted to proceed with stuff, and so he pursued the course of action. And initially, the day that I first met Keith's lawyer, David had asked me to go with him for support, and I ended up going in there and saying what I had to say. And then she said she was going to subpoena me to court anyway, and I said I really wouldn't want to, and they told me that I kind of just had to go in there. And then I talked to other people, and they said I just had to go in there and say the truth. Not her, but I talked to some.
Mr. Welch, let's talk specifically about your time at Rohan Ranch. You stated somewhat, you've indicated that you felt sort of a prisoner at Rohan Ranch. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you state that you didn't have any opportunities to leave that ranch or go elsewhere.
I didn't. Are we talking about like go out to do something or go out to leave permanently?
Okay. Do you recall ever receiving a document from Mrs. McDowell where she offered to move you either to Spokane, or is it Colville? Colville?
Yes, I was given. Well, I don't remember if I was given a document. I received an email. I don't know if that's considered the same, but I was told that I can go to. I was told that I can get about a month to at a motel in Spokane or Colville, and that it was her choice.
Okay. And Mrs. McDowell offered to pay for you to have that motel for a month following you leaving Rohan Ranch, correct?
Yes.
And so you weren't completely without the ability to get off of Rohan Ranch because she offered to pay for a place for you to stay for at least a month.
I was out of a reasonable explanation or a reasonable amount of time to find a living position or a job or go back to Reno, which is what I was initially told I could do. And then when I took up the offer, I was denied that offer.
Let me also ask you, during your time at Rohan Ranch, your board was paid for, correct?
Yes.
And in addition, Mrs. McDowell also paid for other expenses such as computer items that you wanted for yourself personally. Is that correct?
That was years ago.
Okay. But did she at some point during the time that you've been with her, she paid for things like computer items for you?
Once in a while. And she did also help take care of some of my pets that I had at the time.
So she's not a totally horrible human being, is she? She's definitely...
Well, I've never said that.
And would you agree that Mrs. McDowell does desire to do well for other people?
objection calls for speculation.
It's an opinion.
I'm going to permit it. I gave you some latitude, counsel.
I feel that Tanya's desires and her goal in what she wanted is good. I feel that it's gotten skewed, though. I think the way she's going about accomplishing what she wants to do is no longer what it is she's doing.
Is it fair to say that you were disgruntled at the time you left Rohan Ranch?
No. I was not disgruntled. I was hurt.
I just want to clarify that you have talked about knowing how many clients are at Rohan Ranch. Do you know the specific definition that qualifies as a client for purposes of Rivendell Inc. and Rohan Ranch?
I know what I was told by the staff and by Tanya and by the fact that I was in a leadership position that the other 5 people there were considered clients. Now, whether they've moved from that position to a independent contractor or staff, I don't know.
Let me ask you, and at any point in time, did you have involvement with the books of Rohan Ranch or Rivendell Inc.?
Yes, actually.
And what was that involvement?
Once in a while, I had to fill out the receipt. The receipts that we filled out, we had to fill out things that said how much money was spent for what, I don't remember what it's called. The expenditures. Not very often. I only did that, I think, twice.
Okay. So you weren't privy to the incoming flow of money into the business or the outflow of all of the expenses being paid on the business?
No, I wasn't.
So you really don't know how much money was or wasn't there for Rivendell Inc. or Rohan?
No, I don't.
Mr. Welch, have you ever been arrested and convicted for any crimes involving dishonesty?
Yes.
And can you tell this court what that is?
I stole from my college,
And what college is that?
Career College of Northern Nevada.
And were you convicted guilty on that basis?
Yes, I was.
I have no further questions.
Couple
Redirect.
quick ones. Did you end up giving any passwords to my client?
No.
Did you discuss any specific clients or their healthcare issues with my client?
No.
And you stated that that messaging that you did on Facebook was on your private messaging on your own personal Facebook page, correct?
Yes.
And did you have an awareness that that was something that Mrs. McDowell had access to?
I did not.
When you went there, were you made aware that you would have no private?
No, I was not.
Private communication ability?
I was not.
And since you've been here in Reno, has my client provided a place for you to stay or a job?
No. I gotta remand what I said or whatever it's called. It was offered before I left. See, because before I left, I tried to keep things on good terms with Tanya. The day that I left, I was trying to do that too. I was going to try and do some work for Tanya here, and then when I tried to actually pursue that work, because she had made an offer that I keep working for and that we can keep, I wanted to keep a positive relationship going on. I wanted to try and work things out so that I could still be friendly, so that we could still have something. And she, it kind of felt a little blown off. I mean, the offer was there, and it seemed like it was just while she was watching me that the offer was there. But as soon as I wasn't around, it was no longer applicable.
Have you, when it was about time for you to leave, were you allowed to take your personal belongings with you?
I was given an hour before I was supposed to catch the bus because Tanya had taken all of my stuff back in November when she found out I was talking to Keith. The next day, she got me and my roommate to leave the property for a while, and she went in,
Why did you leave the property for a while? To do what?
To go to Walmart. I mean, she said that she was giving us some money to go to Walmart. And
was that unusual? Did
yes.
it surprise you?
Yes, it did, and I stated so that day, too, to everybody I was around.
What did you state?
I said that there's something up because she never does anything like this, and I said it to everybody, and I said that I suspected there was an ulterior motive.
And when you came back from Walmart, what was the case?
When I came back from Walmart, I actually had no idea anything had happened because the first thing I did is I was going to go in to talk to, as a matter of fact, I was going to Tanya's office to have a meeting with her about getting paid. And she pulled me into the office with the other staff, and I still had no idea what was going to happen. I thought we were going to have our little meeting about getting something in return for the work. And that's when I found out that she had went into my room and taken everything. Yeah.
And she confronted you about this in front of the staff?
Yes.
And did she threaten that you would go to jail?
Yes.
And the conviction of a crime that Ms. Luna asked you about, that was a crime of theft, is that correct?
Yes.
Was that a crime, was there any aspect of that crime where you had been found to have lied under oath or impersonated somebody or anything like that?
No. As a matter of fact, when they arrested me, I have this tendency where the officer, even if he's not asking, I end up telling him everything. So.
And did you complete whatever you were sentenced to do in association with that?
Yes.
And are you on any form of parole or probation now?
No.
When did you complete that process?
I don't remember the exact year even, because I've actually been trying to figure how close I am to being able to close it, because I know it's almost been 7 years. So, and I got off parole a year after I got out of prison.
Okay.
So about 6.
Okay. And after, it's after all of this stuff that you were working as a residential aide, or I forget the exact name, for Rivendell, correct?
Yes.
It's after all of this that your name was listed as a staff member on the website, correct?
Yes.
I have nothing further for Mr. Welch.
Mr. Welch, I just want to kind of make sure I understand. At Rivendell, part of the reason why you were moved into kind of a staff position was to help you build up some confidence and accomplish your goals. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that that's a normal part of the program for people that have lived there to slowly be moved into other positions for that purpose?
At the time that I've been there, for the time that I have been there, there has been only 3 people that have become staff positions that were actually clients.
Let me ask you, at one point in time you testified that you were a client of 24/7.
Yes. Well, I was a tenant.
A tenant. And you were kicked out of 24/7 by Arlene, were you not?
Yes.
And Tanya McDowell took you in, did she not?
She did.
I have no further questions.
Sir, you may step down. May the witness be excused.
Yes.
Sir, you can go about your day.
Thank you.
Shall we resume with the previous witness?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Ma'am, if you'll step back up. I remind you, you're under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, would you please look at what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit J?
This book.
This looks similar to some of the other exhibits we've had. Do you recognize what this is?
Exhibit A, correct?
Exhibit J.
J, sorry. Secretary of State?
Yes. And so this is the information from the Secretary of State for Rivendell Independent Living, correct?
Correct.
And if you turn, and I'm sorry, it appears we forgot to number these pages. If you turn to, not the second page, not the third page, but the fourth page, it says Articles of Incorporation. That states on there that both you and Mr. McDowell are named as on the Board of Directors, correct?
Not on this one. Hold on. What page?
It's fifth page of the entire exhibit. And it says Articles of Incorporation.
Oh, the 2007?
Yes, it's dated 6/28/2007 at 3:05 p.m.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. And then if you turn to the next page, what is the date stamp in the top right-hand corner of that?
Uh, 9/6/2007?
Okay. And on this, Mr. McDowell is no longer named, correct?
Correct.
And did you have a meeting of the board of directors to make that decision to remove him?
No, we did not.
Did you have any sort of meeting about how to repay the capital that went into Rivendell from the loan on the residence?
Mr. McDowell and I did on both subjects. One, Mr. McDowell asked to be removed. And two, we did discuss about the finances on the loan.
So it's your statement here in court today, I just want to make sure I understand you, that he asked you in the 3-month period between when the company began and when he was no longer a part of it, according to these papers, you're stating that he asked you to do that.
Well, to be honest, this looks like, and I really honestly don't remember all the happenings of this time, and here's why. A
Ma'am,
resident,
actually, the
There's no
question I asked
questions
Okay.
pending.
sorry,
And it is in fact true, of course, that between 6/28/2007 and 9/6/2007, the loan money on the Park Place residence was dispersed, correct?
in 2007, yes.
And again, did you have, the only two people on the board, as of your initial filing, were you and Mr. McDowell. And you're stating that you and Mr. McDowell had a meeting, because, strike that question. A few questions ago I asked you, was there a meeting of the board to determine that Mr. McDowell would be replaced? And you said no. And after that, you suggested that there was some sort of meeting. Are you saying that you and Mr. McDowell, the then directors, had a meeting deciding that he would be removed?
There was only Mr. McDowell and I,
Right.
Initially.
You had a meeting in which that was decided?
and Mr. McDowell didn't want to be involved in
Do you
it.
have minutes from that meeting?
No, we don't, because we didn't have a minute. But
Have you ever had minutes from a meeting?
yes, I have.
I would request that Exhibit J be admitted.
The court's indulgence. No objection, however, I do think the record needs to be corrected. I don't actually see what you mean with the board in this. What I do see is what I think Mrs. Mahan is referring to is the list of officers, directors, and resident agent, which is certainly ridiculous. Perhaps I'm not looking at the right thing when she was referring to it, but I absolutely do not see anything. The first page appears to be the board of directors. The second page appears to be the list of officers. There are additional lists of officers in here, which some of which indicate Mr. McDowell, some that don't. But I don't see a change in the board of directors.
Your Honor, if she stipulates to its admission, I'll let the court draw its own conclusion.
Any objection, counsel?
No, I have no objection.
Then Exhibit J will be admitted. Hard for me to make a decision one way or the other until I can actually look at the document.
I didn't. Ma'am, could you look at the next to last page of this exhibit J? Who is Peggy Hilliard?
She is my sister,
And who is Daniel?
my brother-in-law.
Would you please turn to exhibit D? I know it's hard to move those pages, so let me know when you're ready. So these are records that were subpoenaed by us from NISA.
From who?
And would you, didn't remember these either, would you just turn, for simplicity's sake, to the last page of this exhibit? And that is your driver's license, correct?
Yes.
And then the page prior to that, is that the check that you wrote on the day that you leased the Nissan?
Yes.
That's your signature. That was October 22nd, 2010, correct?
I believe so.
And then on the page prior to that, it says there's an initials NR at the top, I assume for Nissan Averino, and number 6 below that, there's a paragraph called loan application. And you initialed after that. And in that, you stated, I understand that a credit application will be submitted to various lenders and declare that all of the information contained in my application is true and factual to the best of my knowledge. Did you read that before you put the initials there?
Yes.
Okay, and then on the prior page, on 2022-2010, you state that this is in the bottom of the top square, you state that your income is $3,750 a month, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because that was true at the time?
That was somewhat, yes, at the time. That was potential.
It was your,
And I did tell Nissan that. I said, here's my situation. And I followed their direction.
would you please turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit double F. You seen this before?
Bonnie, not to interrupt you, just so it's clear, Bonnie, that FF is the second half.
Okay. I think I'm in the right place. At least I hope so.
Looking at the first few pages, this is the subpoena that we issued for First Interstate Bank records. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
First Independent
I'm sorry,
Bank.
I apologize, First Independent Bank. And once you get through the initial pages that are the subpoena and the certificate of service, which is about 15 pages or so, then you will see that the pages are numbered in the bottom right-hand corner. The circles are numbered.
Okay.
Is that your signature on the page that's circled number 1?
Yes, it is.
And also on the next page, number 2?
Yes.
Now, if you turn to the page that's marked number 4 on the back, there's an indication that on July 18th, 2008, there was a $20,000 wire transfer,
Correct.
and that went from your Great Basin Federal Credit Union account to this account.
Correct. Correct.
And the Great Basin Federal Credit Union account is a personal account, correct?
Correct.
Now, would you please turn to the page that's marked page 5?
Okay.
So as we look at this page, it appears to be the first page of a statement in the upper right-hand corner for July 29th, 2011. Would you agree?
Correct.
And so, just to understand this, to make sure that the court understands and we're all on the same page, there's a category called deposits that appears to have 6 deposits. Under that, there's a category called other credits. And it says First Health Service, CCD, remits, and then a number. Do you know what that number represents? The 04545582?
Point it out again.
Under other credits, do you see how there are 8 entries from First Health Services?
Mm-hmm.
The number after remits,
Mm-hmm.
on the first one, the 045455820011, do you know what that number represents?
No, I don't. And I can't even see what you're talking about right now.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
These numbers.
Right?
Yeah. So you see them,
Yes.
but you don't know what they mean?
Oh, I don't know what the numbers specifically mean, no. Other than their remittance check numbers from First Health,
So,
because it's direct deposit.
okay. So it would appear then in this particular month that between the First Health deposit, now what are the First Health deposits? Is that Medicaid billing?
Basic life skills and psychosocial, yes.
And you receive that money from Medicaid, correct?
Correct.
And so in July of 2011, between the Medicaid billing and the other deposits, according to the top, you had $29,398.30 come into that account, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If you turn to the next page, to be clear, we didn't say it, but this is a Rivendell Independent Living business account, correct?
Correct.
So, on the next page, if you look at the individual entries under other debit, on July 1st, there's one for $78 at Moxie 2 in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
That was you?
It was either I or another staff person who has a card also.
Okay. So you have no employees, correct? Rivendell has no employees?
I have ICs,
And by that you mean?
independent contractors.
Okay. So, you don't have any employees, but some of these independent contractors have company cards?
It's another board member.
Ma'am, my question is, okay, so they're not just independent contractors, they're board members
Mhm.
with credit cards.
They're ICs.
Ma'am? Then I'm going to
Okay.
confirm that. What you're telling me is that you have no employees, you have independent contractors, and some of them have credit cards.
The independent contractor has a card.
Okay, what independent contractor would that be?
Debbie Mila.
Okay. And so when you look at these entries, are you telling, maybe you're not telling me for all of them, so correct me if I'm wrong. Are you not going to be able to tell me when we look at these, whether it was you or Deborah?
No, because it would have to be tracked by the specific card number,
Okay.
and that's not on the. That's not on the.
Okay. So on this particular page, page 6, we have on July 1st, Moxie for $78. We have about halfway down the page on July 5th, an internet phone transfer debit for $500. Do you have any idea what that would be for?
I honestly. Until I looked at other records, I honestly could not tell you,
Okay.
because we do have a lot of bills that we have to pay.
Okay. On the 8th, we have Q and Cushion for $28. Again, do you know who that was?
On what page?
Same page on July 8th.
No, I could not tell you, honestly.
Okay. And the Murrieta's Mexican food for $80, the Caros for $25.72. I'm just going straight down the line. Also not sure who used those.
It was either me or the other person.
Okay, how about Southwest Airlines? 2 separate charges, $401.40.
Actually, that was a double charge, and we got that corrected later.
Okay, so what was that for?
I honestly believe it was having to fly up to Washington.
For you and Jeff?
No, just for me.
Oh. Do you know that was credited back to your account?
At a later time, it took quite a while to get things credited back.
Okay.
Because they make you go through a whole process of when you buy something online to get things credited back to an account.
Okay, and on the next page, and no, Your Honor, I'm not going to do this for all 100 pages. I have specific pages. However, well, let's just stop right now. I would request this exhibit be admitted.
I thought that was stipulated too, Bonnie.
Oh, I don't have it on my list, so that's great.
I have it as stipulated.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, and so on this part, page 7 in the bottom right-hand corner.
Correct?
If you take a minute to look over that page, we have the Lake Bar, Century Theaters, Mimi's, Moxie, Bullies. We also have on July 20th an online transfer to 710-28591 for $2,908.80. You have any idea what that was for?
I honestly would have to look at the backup documentation.
Does the number, I'm assuming it's an account number, 710-28591?
Not right at this moment, no, because I have a lot of accounts. And so
With this bank, or just in general?
with the payees and their accounts and the business accounts. So when you're trying to, I have to look at backup documentation,
Well, if you have a
reference numbers.
If it's a payee account, you wouldn't be paying money out, correct? You wouldn't be.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that on the online transfer, it probably more than likely went into Rohan's account to cover payroll.
Now, what kind of payroll would there be for a company with no employees?
We do have 3 employees.
Did you have 3 employees, according to your testimony herein, on July 29th, 2011?
I'm going to object. This is slightly confusing because I think she's saying she doesn't know what this was really for, and now Mrs. Mahan seems to be insisting that it was for something that she's clearly identified that she's not sure it was or wasn't, that it could have been.
Well, she used the word payroll, and
I think she said
maintained
it
that
could
she had
have
no
been, but
employees.
she does not know without the backup documentation what it's for.
I'm going to sustain.
On the following page 8, again, starting at the top, we have Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
A little further down, the Lake Bar, again, Moxie. We have a cash withdrawal of $300, online transfer of $500, online transfer to the same account that appeared on the prior page of $400, cash withdrawal a little lower down, Bullies, 7-Eleven, Lake Bar, 7-Eleven, Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
And you're stating, I'm assuming, that all of these are legitimate business expenses, correct?
If they are, they're put in the books. These are bank accounts records. If they're legit, when it goes to bookkeeping, they put them in and go through it. But 7-Eleven would be gas. The Moxie's is where most of the time we take clients out for lunch or dinner and visit them and talk to them because they need their one-on-one time, and or we meet other business people that we're talking to.
So it's your statement here in court today that it's quite possible that these, at the Lake Bar, which is a bar, correct?
Not necessarily, it's a restaurant.
Okay. But it's quite possible that you took clients to these places.
Yeah, they're adults.
Okay, where are these places located?
Near the facilities.
The Lake Bar is located
I-
near one of your facilities. Isn't that at Eagle Canyon and Pyramid Highway?
Yeah,
Do you have a facility near?
no.
At the next page?
Actually, can I clarify something? The Lake Bar and Restaurant is actually out where my administrative assistant works.
Okay, so maybe you went out with her
Mm-hmm.
to discuss business.
Mm-hmm.
On the next page at the bottom, on the 29th of July, you were in Oregon.
Correct.
Does Rivendell have business in Oregon?
We were driving through.
If you go forward to page 11, you'll see that the credits coming into the account that month, including the Medicaid billing, were $30,000.08.
Mm-hmm.
On the following page, on June 8th, this is page 12 in the bottom right-hand corner, there's charges on the Acorn Saloon in Full Bay, Washington. A bar?
No, it's actually a restaurant.
And are you maintaining that you likely took clients there?
Not necessarily.
The following page, page 13, in the bottom right-hand corner, on June 13th, you look at, starting with Casey's Family Diner, there's a charge in Washington, a charge in Sparks, a charge in Washington, followed by a charge in Reno, a charge in Washington, and two more, looks like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 gas trips, all on the 13th. 2 of the gases at Texaco in Washington. So you're maintaining this is you and that one other person, Deborah, charging simultaneously?
More than likely, it was me that was up in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So we were either transporting clients to go shopping, which is, it's rural, so everything is very far away. So,
And there is no company vehicle, correct?
no,
But the company pays for gas.
yes.
And also on that day, we have on 6/14 on that same page, we have a $1,000 internal transfer.
Mm-hmm,
And then on the 16th, a $600 internal transfer.
mm-hmm.
Again, do you maintain that you don't know exactly what that was for?
Not unless I look at the reference material.
You turn to page 16, which is the April 2011 statement. Here's there that $29,570 came in that month to the Rivendell account. Correct?
Where is that?
Page 16 in the bottom right-hand corner.
Okay.
It's the front page of the April 2011 statement.
Mm-hmm.
So do you agree with that figure, the $29,570?
Yes, if the bank says so.
On the following page, again, on April 11th, 2014, is charges in different states. And you would say that would be for the same reason that you said before?
Yes, because I drive from here to Washington
Okay.
because I only have one vehicle.
But you also fly on Southwest Airlines, right?
Whenever it works out that way, if I have a vehicle that I can access up at the ranch, then I'll fly.
Okay. And then on April 15th, on that same page, a $4,000 internal transfer again.
On what page?
The same page we were just on,
Okay,
17 in bottom right hand.
okay,
April 15th, $4,000 internal transfer.
okay.
And then on the following page, a $2,000 transfer first, and a $5,000 transfer on the 27th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
On the 22nd, there's Isaac Hearn, MD. Is that for a client?
On what page?
Page 18 on April 22nd.
Okay.
Was that for a client?
What charge?
Isaac Hearn, MD, on April 22nd? I mean, yes, Isaac Hearn, MD.
I don't know. It looks like a computer product. I don't know. Until I looked at the books, I can't tell you from the statements because the books are matched up with the expenditures. And what they typically put on the, bank statements is just rough, whatever their billing information is.
Okay. On the page that's marked 20 in the bottom right-hand corner, that's the statement dated March 31st, 2011 at the top. There was $29,518.
What page?
Page 20,
Okay.
bottom corner.
All right.
$29,518.96 came in that month.
Mm-hmm.
The following page 21. Lake Bar, Flowing Tide, Smoking at Eagle Landing is just a part of Bullies, isn't that correct? It's the smoking side of the Bullies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Online transfer, $6,000 on March 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Were any of these transfers used to pay your attorney?
No.
What are your attorney's fees so far in this case? Yeah.
My attorney fees?
Laura,
I
I'm
don't-
actually gonna object on her behalf. She probably doesn't know as of today's date.
Yeah, I don't.
On the billing, and this man really wants that number. I'm happy to bring it for her tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
We'll handle it that way. Thank you for the stipulation, counsel.
Then on March 8th, Southwest Airlines, so that was likely travel to Washington.
Yes.
Have you used Southwest
Maybe.
in the past year to travel any place other than between Washington and Reno?
Say that again?
In the past year, have you used Southwest Airlines to fly between Washington, or to fly between any other two cities than wherever you, Spokane, I'm guessing, and Reno?
In the last year?
Yeah.
In the last year, it has just been to Washington.
The following page, in the bottom right-hand corner, 378144 transfer, 315 internal transfer again to that same account number.
Okay, what page?
22 in the bottom
Okay.
right-hand corner.
Okay.
March 15th, internal transfer, 3781 and 44 cents. And then another one on March 28th, 2545 and 20 cents. On the page that's marked 25 in the bottom right-hand corner, if you look at the charges on the 14th of February, Caro's, the Lake Bar, Bullies, the Lake Bar again, on one
Mhm.
day, those would be for business.
And our clients.
When you take the clients out, do you buy alcohol with their money for them?
No,
No?
no.
And then another $1,200 online transfer on February 22nd. That would be page 26. So it would be a fair statement, based on what you said so far. You're going to be notating in these proceedings that all of the charges that are incurred here on this Rivendell account are solely for Rivendell business purposes.
Yes.
Could you look at page 12, please? The same exhibit.
Okay.
Does Rivendell do business in Colorado?
No, we don't.
And does Rivendell do business in North Carolina?
Yes.
What business does Rivendell do in North Carolina?
The board, my sister and her husband live down there.
Okay, so you have a group home in North Carolina?
No, we don't. I fly down to meet with them.
Okay, so do you have any idea why there'd be a charge at the Paradise Bakery in Denver, Colorado on June 3rd on a Rivendell business card?
Nope. Do not know why. For $8.92. Oh, that was at the airport.
The airport, so somebody went to North Carolina?
More than likely, yes.
One moment, Your Honor. On page 14, on June 22nd, there's a charge at Les Schwab Tires, $242.26. Do you know what that might be for?
On where?
Les Schwab Tires, page 14, on June 22nd.
In Colville?
Yes.
Repairing a vehicle?
Do you have a company vehicle?
No.
Okay. So you're buying tires for a vehicle that's up there, that's not a company vehicle?
It's actually...
Objection, this states evidence. There's no evidence that she bought tires.
Ma'am, you have no recollection what was bought at Les Schwab Tires on June 22nd, 2011?
Not a year ago, no. Honestly, I would have to look at the books.
Okay, and then
Objection sustained then.
on page 22, so that would be about 3 months earlier. Page 22, March 14th, $237.41 at Les Schwab Tires again. You also have no recollection what that would have been for?
No, honestly, I don't.
Where do you purchase tires, ma'am?
Actually, I do not believe there's been any tires purchased. What I do believe is we were repairing a part for the pump that was on the ranch. And there was some stuff that we were trying to get taken care of through there. But I cannot honestly tell you specifically what it was used for.
That wasn't responsive to my question. I'm going to ask you again. Where do you purchase tires?
I have not purchased tires.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Mayhem.
Thank you. Would you turn to page 37 of the same exhibit, please? On the bottom half of that page, there are 4 online transfers on October 19th. One of them appears to be to the account that all the others are to. Do you have any idea what those other 3 accounts might represent?
These are online transfers from a payee's account to the Rivendell account because we started going to virtual invoicing through the banking system and set them up in bill pay. So the company invoices them out and it automatically gets transferred.
Okay. And they're always in even amounts like that?
If that's what they're invoiced, most of the time. We try to keep it simple because they have minimal money.
If you look at page 102, same exhibit. The statements take a different appearance once they get, I'm assuming it's because once they get a certain age, old, they shrink over something, but they're still statements. This appears, one second. This appears to be the first month in which this particular account begins getting Medicaid money. Does that sound, the timing of it, does that sound right to you, September of 2008?
Actually, fairly close, but we were getting later part of 2007, but 2008.
Okay, well, according to these statements, which I realize you can respond to all of them, right? The second, well, there's not that many more actually, it goes only to page 113. All the statements prior to that one have no Medicaid deposits on them. Take a moment to look.
For what year?
Well, it says in the top there, we're looking at the first Medicaid deposits into this account in these records that were provided to this subpoena are in September of 2008. And in the prior months, which only represent pages in here, 102 through 113, there are no Medicaid deposits.
In the 2008?
That is the date on the statements, ma'am.
You're saying there's no Medicaid deposits?
No, I'm saying on these particular statements between June 2008, actually between December 31, 2007, which is page 113, which is the last statement in here. Between that and September 2008, there are no Medicaid deposits on here. I'm not saying you didn't receive Medicaid money, I'm just saying it wasn't going to this account.
Right, and it wasn't. And it wasn't going into that account.
Was it going to be my basic?
Yes, it was.
Would you turn to exhibit DD? So that's the D in the second back set. This is the subpoena that we used to the Federal Credit Union account.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a chance to look at this already? when you're ready, would you look at page 28 of this exhibit, please?
Okay.
If you look at the top, sort of left, underneath the logo, it says Tanya McDowell, 6360 Park Place, correct?
Correct.
And so this is a personal account.
Correct.
And in this personal account, it appears in this particular month there's $32,023 in deposits, correct?
Correct.
And if you look at page 29, looks like there was a deposit on April 8th of $500, one on the 15th of $600, we can't tell the source. But on page 30, there's two big deposits, $15,150.90, $15,807.64. Those are Medicaid deposits, aren't they?
Correct.
Going into your personal account.
Correct.
And on the, if you look at the following page, page 31, and actually go forward to page 32. On page 32, there are 4 Medicaid deposits into your personal account. And on page 33, 1 more, correct?
Withdrawal? Correct. Yes.
Deposits, not withdrawals. Medicaid deposits.
Correct.
In your personal
That's correct.
Page 35 of this same exhibit. Again, Medicaid deposits into your personal account, both on June 17th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Page 37. In that month you had, according to the statement, $42,289 deposited into your account. And if you look at pages 38 and 39, all except $7.47 in interest on the 31st of July,
What page are you on?
38 and 39.
Okay.
If you look at pages 38 and 39,
Okay.
it would appear that the only deposit that went into your account that month that wasn't Medicaid was $7.47. So the rest of the $42,000 was Medicaid.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
One moment, Your Honor. So at some point, I guess you decided that maybe Medicaid money should be going into a business account instead of a personal account?
The Great Basin Credit Union was already discussed with my attorney, Rod Carucci, in regards to the Medicaid issues. And it was his advice to me was, due to the fact that we'd already been through a company account being fraudulently taken over, okay, that it was okay to keep it in there until things resolved out. And I was going off my attorney's advice. And that was strictly used for and documented for client services.
Okay. And how much of that money from the Park Place loan went to Mr. Carucci?
I don't specifically remember, but honestly, he only had a consult fee. I only met with him for 1 hour. He informed me it's not even worth fighting, which Mr. McDowell was aware of this because he encouraged me to go down and talk to him.
Okay, well, my question was, how many of those fees were spent, and your answer was, you only met with him 1 hour? You only met with Rod Carucci, you only had a consultation with him, he billed you nothing beyond that?
Not that I can remember at this point in time. I would really have to look back in records and see.
Would you please look at what's been marked Exhibit HH? No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. I apologize. One moment. I'm sorry, Exhibit V as in Victor. Do you recognize this?
I'm not even where.
V as in Victor, sorry.
V?
V as in Victor.
I do not have it here.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Do you recognize that?
No, I do not.
On page, the second page of that exhibit. Is that your signature?
It's fairly close, yes.
And the spelling out of the words? So are you saying that this is, you did not execute what is on that page?
Objection, Your Honor, mistakes, facts, and evidence.
Well, I do know I didn't fill it out. It does look like my signature.
So you didn't cause a cashier's check to be made out to you for $63,000?
Not that I remember.
And you were not intercepted at Wells Fargo in the parking lot?
No.
By police? You were not?
There
would be no police report confirming that?
There was a police report filed. The police did show up at the bank, and we were released because there was nothing going on.
You were not able to cash the check, though, which is what you're trying to do, correct?
No.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that answer. No, you were not able
No,
to?
I was not trying to cash a check.
Okay.
So it's your testimony under oath today that you did not, on the second page of this exhibit, fill out a withdrawal slip requesting a cashier's check in the amount of $63,000 to be made out to you.
You know what? That long ago, with all that was going on during that time, I honestly, without looking at other supporting documentation, I can't honestly answer that question. When I was stopped at the bank, I was not trying to cash a check. I was checking on payroll for a company that had just all my staff got fired and everything was shut down. So no, I was not trying to cash a check.
So basically, you're saying you don't know if you...
Because at that
this is
time...
your writing, or you don't know if you did this or not?
No.
Your Honor, I believe I'm finished with Ms. McDowell, but could I have a 5-minute restroom break?
Let's take 15. We'll be back at 3.
Your Honor, the course indulgence, I realize that I'm entitled to cross-examine her, but I do intend to call her on direct. Being that it's almost 3 o'clock, I thought I might ask what your preference would be, because I prefer to do my direct on tomorrow regardless. If perhaps, if she's going to call her client, if we want to go ahead and do that so that she can finish her case today, and then I can appropriately address mine on everything with my client tomorrow.
Any objection, Ms. Mahan?
I don't think I quite understood the request.
What she's saying is she prefers to defer cross-examination and take her client on direct in her case in chief.
Oh, that's no problem.
Now, it will be direct, though. It won't be cross-exam.
I mean, Your Honor, she's my client, and I don't think that I really can get away with that many leading questions anyway. And so I think most of the things that they've covered were issues I had direct examination prepared on anyway.
All right.
So,
I have no objection to that. You can defer your cross.
okay. And I thought that it might kind of help too in terms of streamlining.
And frankly, since it's your direct, you wouldn't be constrained to what's happening in this direct anyway. So we'll go ahead and take, as I said, a 15. We'll be back at 3.
All rise.